Last time out in the Premier League, a long time ago, West Ham United defeated Nottingham Forest in what a lot of fans claimed as a must-win game. We now return to Premier League action after an eventful international break as we take the trip up to Turf Moor, to Burnley, to a side that have not won at home all season, to a side that sit at the bottom of the Premier League table with just 4 points from a possible 36 with a minus 21 goal difference. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, enter West Ham United. I hope you are well. Thank you very much indeed for joining us. This is the match preview for Burnley versus West Ham. I'm joined by a couple of guests to dissect their thoughts ahead of tomorrow's game. Firstly, Curtis, how are you?
Yeah, I'm good, mate. How are you all doing? Had a good week?
Yeah, not bad at all. Gary, how are you?
Very good. Bit of a negative vote there, Jake. I think you were leading down the line, I think.
Well, I do find it mildly amusing, the setup statistically that we currently have against us here. We'll start with the international break gossip. I mean, David Moyes, we'll get into it straight away. David Moyes confirmed in his pre-match press conference today that Mikel Antonio will be out for, quote, a couple of weeks. And we still don't know if Jarrod Bowen's going to be available for the game. They will make that decision on match day, which to me probably suggests that he is not going to be involved if they're making the decision on match day. It does suggest that Moyes is desperate to play him, but I mean, it could be worse because at one moment we thought Kudus was injured as well, along with Souček. Soufal been out on the lash. It was an absolutely chaotic few days, but we don't look like we're in a completely bad state currently, especially if Bowen isn't out for as long as first conceived, Curtis.
Yeah, 100%. When the news broke, it was a massive worry because you've got arguably had two, well, you can't count Danny Ings, but two, if you like, furthest forward men are injured. And then obviously the Kudus one broke. And then it was literally squeaky bum time, wasn't it? Because you just know that he's not going to give Obama a chance, and it was going to be Danny Ings that was going to play up top. But is Moyes waiting until match day to say, oh, he's not playing, just so the fans don't get up in arms about it and just to give him some sort of false hope? Or is he playing his cards close to his chest, leading Burnley into a full sense of security? And Moyes actually knows that Jarrod Bowen is all right to play because he's done that before. So it'll be interesting to see what he does and how we can line up.
For sure. I had this discussion with Mike the other night, Gary, and we sort of agreed to a point that if Bowen's 80% fit, I think Moyes is going to play him.
Yeah, he is. I mean, personally, if Bowen's got a problem, I would rest him now because we need him over the full season. And December, I don't know how many games we've got in December, Jake, but something like 9 or 10 or something.
It's a game every 3 days with Europe.
Yeah. We need him fit. So Burnley away, just rest the guy if he's not fit. Antonio also needs a break. I mean, I think he's overworked. So the guy I would bring in, but we both know, all three of us know it won't happen, is Cornet. You know, he needs the game. I'll bring him in. He played forward for Burnley. I was looking at his stats when he played last season for Burnley. He played 21 starts and scored 9 in the Premier League. That's not bad, you know.
No. In the Burnley side that went down, that ain't bad, is it?
Not bad at all. So I would put him in, but I don't know why he won't. We all know he won't. Ings will start. So I would rest Bowen myself. The other one no one's talked about is Alvarez, who was playing an extra time on Wednesday morning in Mexico. So he's going to be knackered. I don't know when he came back. So I'll be surprised if he plays tomorrow as well. But we'll see. We're still good enough to beat Burnley. You know, Burnley are no great shakes. We should control the game and win the game. We've got the players in the squad to win. So that's what I think.
Yeah, we will revisit the West Ham side of things in a second, but let's talk about Burnley for a minute. I did an opposition preview of the Burnley fan that was quite interesting the other night, where basically he described to me where this is a long sort of process, and this squad of players currently, obviously for Burnley, isn't ready to be in the Premier League, and Vincent Kompany doesn't look like he's going to change his ways, whether it's for good or for bad at the moment. I mean, it's been bad, to be honest with you, but Burnley, you can't say too much good about them, Curtis, because they have been dreadful, but they've got to start getting some points at some point, you think, or not?
Oh, 100%. If you're a Burnley fan, you'll be massively worried. And I hope they don't start getting points tomorrow.
Yeah.
Leave it another week or so. But yeah, they've massively underachieved so far. I mean, if that's West Ham, and we're all sitting here talking about that statistic or them statistics about West Ham, we'll be like, that's it, relegation, Moyes out, this, that, and the other. So yeah, it is going to be a long process. Vincent Kompany's come in. He needs like any manager, when they come into a new team, they need to put their stamp on it. I know he was there for the back end. Was he there for the back end of the Championship, or did he come in the
whole season? The whole
season. Yeah.
Oh, there we go. So it's still in a transitional period, and then obviously being in a Championship to the Premier League is another transition period. Yeah. So he's still yet to make his mark on it, and he's still yet to bring in his full squad of players. But having said that, the Premier League is a different kettle of fish to the Championship. So yeah, he's got to start doing something. He's got to start getting a reaction out of the players. And bearing in mind, he's a brand new manager. He's only recently, in the recent 5, 6, 7 years, stopped playing football himself. Yeah. So I like Vincent Kompany. So I hope he can sort of get a tune out of his players and do well in his managerial career.
For sure. Basically, in a nutshell, I think this sort of journey that Burnley have been on since Sean Dyche left the club, and that renaissance, and they stormed the Championship last year. I think it's probably exposed the gap between the Championship and the Premier League, because no one could touch them, no one could get near them in the Championship last year. They flew to the title. And then this year, I mean, they've just, as I said at the top of the show, Gary, they've got 4 points from a possible 36 at the start of this season. That's absolutely dreadful.
Yeah, I think he's changed a lot of the players from last season. I think he's been a bit naive trying to play football against some of the good sides. I mean, he's had some tough fixtures, Spurs and City, and
he tried to play out against Andy, and they got battered 5-1. I mean.
Yeah, exactly. You've got to understand the gap. I think the gap is big, Jake. There's no doubt about it. But I think he's made some mistakes for sure, and he's almost doubling down on it now, when really needs to show a bit of pragmatism, do a bit of Luton, shore at the defence. I know he's brought the keeper in. What's his name? Trafford from Man City, but he's only 21 again. And the other thing, if you bring in lots of new players, as we found out last season, it takes a long time for them to gel. You need some continuity. I think apart from Josh Cullen and 1 or 2 other players, they've replaced everybody. And
they have. They lack experience in that side. They lack a leader, some identity, and some real sort of impetus in the Premier League, which they currently don't have. And this is where Moyes has got to be a little bit switched on here, because the other thing I'll say about Burnley is they're not going to change their ways. A little bit like Tottenham, but it hasn't worked so far. They will continue to come at sides, and that works into David Moyes' hands. Absolutely, we struggle to break down sides that try and West Ham. So Moyes will be licking his lips at them coming at us, and then us countering and scoring goals, hopefully for fun. So it should leave an open gap and an open opportunity, Curtis, for the way David Moyes wants to play. We'll give them 70% of the ball if they want it. If not, we'll take it. And I think the way they play, we can exploit them, and set pieces as well. They really, really have struggled with set pieces. So our 2 main sort of areas to score, they're vulnerable at, and we've got to exploit that.
Yeah, 100%. As you mentioned there, set pieces, we've got to start taking more advantage of. In the terms of play, do you know what? I'm gonna say I bet they give us the ball. I bet they sort of switch up the way they're going to play and approach. I know they're at home. At times when they can do it, I reckon they'll have a bit more of the ball and have a bit more urgency going forward. But I think they're going to, majority of the time, going to let us have the ball and say, well, come then, break us down. Because if you watch West Ham, we struggle when we've got the ball. We struggle to break teams down. We are much better, and it seems like it's only one dynamic that Moore has got about sit back, soak up the pressure, get the transition of possession, and then just counter them. And we're very poor at the other way around, holding on to the ball, possession-based football. We work it around. We go to the byline, cut back. We don't get crosses in the box. Well, half the time there's no one in there to get a cross into. Or it's Antonio that's crossing it in. We struggle to create chances, if you like. It's a bit weird to say, because we do create some half decent chances, but we do struggle when a team sits back in two banks of four on the edge of their box. We just can't play football. Or actually, we just don't have the end pass and the end product to play that sort of football. So I think if Burnley and Vincent Kompany decide to do that, I think we'll struggle. But saying that, if we're smart enough, and that is our job, is to keep hold of the ball and just try and break them down, then we've got to be smart by knocking the ball around very fluidly, very quick, try and draw them out, get them chasing the ball, and then after 70 minutes we can go bang, 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 and it could be 0-0 up till 70th minute, and then we could end up winning 3-0. But we've got to be smart.
Yeah. Let's take some of your comments, Lawrence. Hope you are well. He agrees with Gary. He says, rest Bowen tomorrow if he is not fit. I believe Kudus was out there today. So, yeah, Kudus, there isn't really too many concerns about him. So, hopefully, he should be involved. Let's talk about what we're expecting to see tomorrow, then, Gary. Let's run through this. The first big decision Moyes has got to make that he's had time to dwell over is who the centre back pairing is going to be. Who would you go for?
Who would I go for? Zuma and Aguerd at the moment. People like Mavropanos, and I think he's a good player, but Aguerd just switches off at 5 minutes a game, unfortunately. But his range of passing is just fantastic. And he's got pace. And if he concentrated for 90 minutes, he would be one of the best centre backs in that division, I think. He can pass the ball really well. Zuma's obviously our most experienced and best defender, but I worry about his fitness. But if he's fit, I'd put those two in, definitely, in my personal view.
I agree. And then Soufal and Emerson, would you expect as the fullbacks, Caius?
Yeah, you've got to. They're arguably our best options there. You can't bring in Cresswell, you can't bring in Ben Johnson, and there's no one else really that can play there. So you've got to have Soufal. Whatever he's done in international break, it's got nothing to do with West Ham. Yeah. You don't punish him for that. You let the Czech FA deal with that. And obviously Emerson speaks for itself.
For sure. You mentioned the issue with probably fitness and fatigue with Edson Alvarez, Gary. So we're not sure. Nobody's really mentioned that, to be honest. So we'll be unsure on that one. But other than him in that midfield, how can you see Moyes shaping this up?
Well, we all know Souček will play. That's a given. So he'll play that. Obviously, James Ward-Prowse is playing well. Like I said, hopefully Alvarez is fit, but I don't know. I think that could be a touch and go one. And if he's not fit, I'll play Pablo myself. I think he deserves 90 minutes. I'll play Pablo 4 hours in the centre midfield, or Lucas Paqueta in the centre and push Pablo out wide. Because I know Lucas has been playing on the left recently, which again I don't think is his position. So maybe put Paqueta in the middle midfield and put Cornet on the left. But again, he won't do that either. So we'll see.
There's a conundrum of how you're going to fit Paqueta and Kudus into the side, Curtis, because whether one of them's in that midfield three, I think it massively depends on who starts up front, whether it is Bowen up front. Are you then going to have Kudus and Paqueta either side? I don't know. I mean, I think obviously it fluctuates massively with who's going to start up front, but I mean Paqueta and Kudus have got to get into that side somehow. Both of them have got to be there, so yeah, it depends. No Antonio. If it is Ings, let's just say for argument's sake it's Ings, then it's going to have to be Kudus one side, Paqueta on the other, which I just don't like particularly.
So I'll leave Paqueta in the middle and put Cornet out wide and put Kudus the other side. I think that's what I would do.
So would I. I would do that, but what we all think and what we all say every week, Moyes just doesn't resonate with it. Obviously, it's a massive one who starts up top. Is Bowen fit? If he's not, I mean, I don't think it's a problem putting Kudus and Paqueta in an attacking four, because they can play, literally, they can both play anywhere, other than Paqueta can't play up top on his own. He can play out wide, which I expect him to, because that's where Moyes has been playing him. Depending on Edson Alvarez as well, because obviously if that becomes a problem, then I can see Paqueta coming in central. I would personally have Cornet out wide, but I don't know if that's going to happen. You've got Ben Rama as well that can play out either side. If Bowen's not available, then you can have Kudus up top, Paqueta in the middle, then Ben Rama and Cornet either side, or Paqueta either side. And then obviously Pablo's got to go in the middle for me as well. He deserves a chance. Him and Cornet, I feel so sorry for.
Yeah, I agree.
Cornet hasn't been given a chance. He came in for the first couple of games, got that horrific injury, lengthy injury. He's not been able to hit the ground running. He's not given a chance. He's not been given fair game time since. How do you expect someone to get into a rhythm? And he's worried that he's not going to be included in the international tournaments coming up next year. Obviously, Ben Rama's got the same issue with that, so he needs to knuckle down as well and try and knock on the door to get back into the team. But Fornals, he's been a great servant for us. He's always played well. He's never let us down, really. And he's been mistreated as well. So I think if there's an opportunity, you can get Fornals in the central centre mid sort of positions if Alvarez is not fit. Cornet out wide and just say, listen, this is your time. Go and prove something. Go and show me as the manager and the coaching staff why you should be knocking on the door, if not starting.
If there's ever an opportunity for Maxwell Cornet to come into the side, you feel like it's against his former club, don't you? Tomorrow, that's got to be it. If he doesn't get any involvement tomorrow, then it's pointless. We said it's pointless for a long time. And as long as all of those players can be incorporated in there, I'd be all for it. Something a little bit different. He hasn't played all season, so company Burnley, Burnley fans might know what to expect, but that Burnley outfit and how they've tactically set up may have to differ. Just imagine Kudus one side, Cornet on the other. You've got pace on either side. When was the last time we could solidly say that we've had pace on either flanks? Good pace. I can't remember. Can you? I mean, it's just a different dimension, a different option that Moyes surely has got to try at some point. But
he's got to show he can manage now. I mean, we've got 9 or 10 games, as you said, Jake, in December. We're not by any means guaranteed in Europe yet. So we've still got the Freiburg and the other rubbish team, TSC, to play. We've got a big game at Liverpool in the Coco Cup. He's got to rotate his squad. He's got to manage the squad. People like Cornet needs to play. People like Tilo Kehrer needs to play. People like you need to use these players, get them fit, get them used. You can't flog, for example, Ward Prowse to death. You can't flog Bowen to death with these every week. You can't play. Even Thomas Suchek can't play every game. You've got to rotate. You can't play 10 games in 30 days. It's just crazy. You just can't do it. We've got the players.
8 games we've got in 28 days. So and just to add to that, Gary, is that what I don't want to see is Moyes starting the first team for 3 games in a row and then completely changing it for a Europe game or something. He's got to do it in little and small patches. He's got to rest a player every now and then for a game.
That's
he
exactly
can't just
Go on. You got to manage it.
Yeah.
Like Ferguson used to. Ferguson, you speak to all the Man United players. Ryan Giggs used to say that Ferguson would go and speak to him and said, I really need you in 2 weeks against Man City. And they go, yeah. And then Giggs would think, does that mean I'm not playing now? And that's what he used to do, It's managing staff, planning the batch of games. And as you say, Jake, what he tends to do is play his first team, change them all, and obviously the reserve players come in, look like reserve players because they've got the best players around them. It makes no sense.
Exactly. And that gives no benefit to the team in the end result. And it also gives no benefit to them as well because they're playing with, crap. And we have got some crap on that bench. There's no doubt in that. And when you put all of them with some decent players alongside some crap, it's not going to work. So, you've got to bring your Fornals in with that other midfield at times. You've got to bring Cornet in those sort of games. You've got to bring Kehrer in alongside Zuma and Agurd, etc., etc. But look, I mean, this is the start of a huge sort of, divulge of a huge...
massive month. If he manages it well, we could be top 10 in the new year, in the European in March, in the semi-finals of the League Cup. If you don't, we could be bottom 6 and out of both.
Yeah. Oh, exactly.
With the fringe players, like you boys just said then, Moyes has a tendency of playing his best 11 and being stubborn with it for the next couple of games. I think teams like the TSC, you could probably get away with switching a handful of players around, i.e. 4 or 5 players, like the Fornals, the Cornets, and just bringing in some of the extra fringe players, giving them some game time, getting them some match sharpness. Because if you start switching up 10 players from playing sorry, your main 11 playing for a good few games on the trot and then just taking them all out and bringing in your fringe players. One, they've got no chemistry.
Yeah.
They don't play with anyone, let alone with the fringe team. You've got no match fitness and no match sharpness.
Yeah.
So therefore, it's a triple whammy for them. And they've got the whole. Like, we don't probably see it as much, but they're probably thinking, we're like screwed here because they expect us to do this. On paper, we've got a decent team, but theoretically, on the pitch, they can't do it properly because they haven't got no chemistry. They haven't got no training. They haven't got no practicing with those guys, with just them and those guys. When they do training, you've got the whole squad. So therefore, it's a bit different.
Moyes has also got to get his priorities right as we look ahead for the next month as well, because I think personally most West Ham fans, in my opinion, I can't speak for people, but I'd say most West Ham fans would take us in the new year, us being 12th or 13th in the league, but through in Europe and through to the semi-final of the Carabao Cup, in my opinion. I think that Carabao Cup game's massive, because that can really unite the fan base. Again, there's 6,000 of us going up to Anfield. And if we win that game just before Christmas, everybody's going to be in a good mood. We go back and play Man United, who you never know what's going to happen with them at the moment. And I think he's got to get his priorities right here, where I would personally, I would play all the fringe players against TSC. I think we've got enough there, to be honest with you. And then we have got a big game against Freiburg. It's going to be winner takes all in terms of top of the group, because we don't want to be playing a Champions League dropout, because that could end Europe pretty quick for us. And then he's got to, look at the Premier League games we've got. Fulham away, Wolves at home. That's 2 games, 4 points at a minimum you want there.
Spurs away has 3 points as well. So that's
no, exactly, easy peasy. They got like 15 million injuries, haven't they? Don't worry about that.
Yeah, exactly.
Don't worry about that. But anyway,
no, you're right, Jake. I mean,
sorry, Gary. I was just thinking about the last 2 games, TSC. If we go out and get, even if you change half the squad around, go out and make sure that's a win. Yeah. Then no matter what Freiburg result are, all we need is a draw, and then we finish top. I think that's what Moyes is going to be more focused about. He's going to want to finish top.
100%.
I don't know how you boys feel about that, but I think that's probably our best way. But the players, whoever comes in, I think the players, we've got enough to do TSC.
Yeah, 100%. Let's return back to the action that will take place tomorrow at Turf Moor. Let's move on to a prediction. As usual, I haven't thought about it, so I'm going to now think about it whilst Gary tells me his prediction.
I think we will win 2-0.
You're not coming back again, Gary. I just thought 2-1. I don't think they'll score. 2-0. Gary, I think I'll go for 2-0. Thank you very much. Curtis?
I tried to look at your prediction, Jake, but you haven't done it yet on the league. So
Oh, yes. Christ, I've got to do that. Sorry. Yeah. Curtis?
Do you know what? My head tells me one thing, but it's typical West Ham. All them stats that you reeled off at the start of the show, it's typical West Ham. And this is not me being negative or anything. This is just, I don't know, just hindsight, I suppose. It always happens. If you need a win, or a player needs a goal because he hasn't scored for so long, play West Ham.
Exactly.
I'm not saying that we're going to go and lose to them, but there is a possibility we could end up slipping up here if we're not careful. But
it's a banana skin.
I'm still confident in West Ham, and I think 2-0 would have been probably a fair analogy. But I'm going to go with what I alluded to earlier. I'm going to be brave and bold and say 3-0 because I don't think they'll score.
Good, because I thought you were going to say 1-0 then, which is going to be my prediction. I was going to go 2-0, but my confidence has detracted slightly after reeling out all of those stats at the start.
I think all 3 of us need a massive asterisk depending on the team, doesn't it? It really does depend on what team we picked.
Yeah,
that's 100%. It. Yeah.
If we see their name Ings up front, we'll be like, oh, fuck us.
1-0 from a set piece, scrappy, dodgy, not very good, but 3
if it
points.
Up front, then I'll go for a 0-0.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll take a point if I see Danny Ings out front. Take a point and get out of there. But yeah, thank you very much indeed, everybody, for watching this match preview. If you enjoyed it, drop a like on it and subscribe to West Ham Official. There'll be no match build-up show tomorrow. I'm going to be, or there might be actually. I don't know. Dad, have we got time for a build-up show tomorrow? I'll let my agent discuss that with himself. I don't think so. Maybe very quickly. I'm not sure because I'm unavoidably detained tomorrow afternoon. So if Ings plays up front and we win, I'm going to be happy because I'm not watching it. I haven't got to go through the pain of watching it. So I'm chuffed about that one. That is for sure. But yeah, Curtis, any final thoughts?
Again, everything that we've alluded to in this video, it depends on the personnel selection, what we've got available, fitness-wise. Moyes, obviously we don't know fully yet, but Moyes knows. Deep down, Moyes knows, regardless of his press conference. He has a rough idea of what his starting 11 is. Yeah. So as long as we can get that right, as long as he doesn't play Danny Ings, give Obama a chance if you have to, or even bring him on for the last 20. Don't bring him on for the last 2 minutes because he's not going to be able to get into the rhythm of the game. It's going to be nearly over. We're either going to be seeing the game out or we're going to be that far ahead that it doesn't really matter. So it's no good to him. But give Obama a chance, give Cornet a chance, a decent run out. And it's perfect timing with these injuries. Moyes, mate, now it's down to you. You've got problems within your personnel selection. So give these players a chance. Come on your islands.
Absolutely. And Gary, round things off.
Yeah, just so we put in a good performance. I mean, negatively after the international breaks, we haven't been very good so far this season. So I hope we do okay tomorrow. So let's. Their confidence, Burnley, is not going to be high. They've lost every home game. So if we can attack them and be brave, we'll win. So let's do that.
We can win. We should win. Will it happen? I'll tell you at 10:05 tomorrow afternoon. Thank you very much indeed for watching. As I said, you might see me tomorrow. There might be a cheeky little video at some point. But apart from that, you'd have to go without me. I've wrote down on a piece of paper Super Brew because I've got to do Gary's predictions. So I'll do that in a minute because I will forget otherwise, and I can't slip up because I'm getting close to Dad. Gary, if you noticed, I'm just edging up the back of him. Just edging up the back of him. Yeah. Thank you very much, Curtis and Gary.
Cheers.
Cheers, mate. Thank you.
Come on, you eyes. And we will see you right here on West Ham Official. Thank you very much, and bye-bye.